Welcome to the Marriage Veteran. I'm Big Kev, 26 years married, and then divorced, and then remarried again. Here's what I learned about when a wife says she's no longer attracted to her man. But before we get started, I want you to go ahead and like and subscribe and share this video with as many people as you can, because we give biblical insight with real results. Please share your comments or your questions, or even if you don't have one of those, even if you just disagree with it, whatever the case may be, go ahead and hit that comment section. Tell us what you think. We would greatly appreciate it. Now, let me tell you what I learned about when a wife says she's no longer attracted to her man. Yeah, she is not attracted to her man anymore. I'm going to tell you, wow, that's a doozy. That's a doozy. I'm going to tell you where this came from and why I'm even bringing this up. So I was watching this show. It's produced by Dave Ramsey and his group, Dr. John Delony. Listen, here it is. The Dr. John Delony Show is the name of the show. And basically what happened is he had a gentleman call in, very despondent, just very down. I mean, he just seemed like he'd had all the wind knocked out of him. And he basically called and said, my wife told me, and I quote, I'm no longer attracted to you because you gained 70 pounds since we got married. Now, let's be honest. Hey, you listen, you don't want your spouse, whether it's a husband or a wife, to gain 70 pounds, a year after you got married. Shoot, let alone at any time. But it happens, folks. It does happen. But what I want to pinpoint more so on is that the best way to put that? Is that the best way to say that? Should you say that? Should you say something like that to your husband? I know, men are supposed to be strong and they are masculine and they are, but men have feelings too. You tell him you want to hit a man below the belt. Hey, start talking about, how you're attracted to them. And she was coming from the standpoint, I'm not, sexually attracted to you. You know what I'm saying? That's a big deal. That's a big deal. And what comes to mind, the first thing that comes to mind is Ephesians 4:29 says, let no corrupt communication proceed from out of your mouth, but that which edifies, so that it may be grace to the hearer. And that grace part, that's basically just talking about, hey, you're going to be a blessing to who you're speaking to. You're going to edify. You're going to build that person up. It's about building the person up. Again, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is to edify, to build up, to build them up. Now, if you got to tell somebody something, rebuke somebody, reprove somebody, correct somebody, and let me tell you something, you gain 70 pounds, that does need to be corrected, needs to be talked about. But to go as far as to say, I'm no longer attracted to you from an intimate standpoint, and that's heavy. That's heavy. And I just have to think, first of all, it comes to mind that, is that really true? But it also comes to mind is there something else going on here? Because that's kind of, this is your husband. And I'll say this, check this out, y'all. From what I understood from the Dr. Delony Show, this had happened a year after they had been married. She's coming to him. So it makes me think, but why in the world is she communicating to him in such a way? I'm sure she didn't get him. She didn't attract him talking like this. And some people say, well, that's honesty and all that. You can, listen, man, you can speak the truth in a manner to where you're not. Now, the truth can offend. The truth can offend, but you can't speak truth in a manner that's going to hurt the person. I mean, like tear them up. And that's something that can tear them up. And here's at the core of it. Make sure your motivation in telling this truth, make sure you're motivated by love. Make sure the motivation is love. And I question that. I question, was the person's motivation love? Because in this same verse, in the same chapter, Ephesians 4, I think it's 30, right after it tells a person to don't do the corrupting talk, don't, talk in a corrupting manner, it comes right back and says, let all bitterness be put away from you. All anger, all strife, all, you're riled up. And usually bitterness comes from somebody that's angry. They're resentful. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired of the individual. And so I have to ask the question at that point, have you done everything that you needed to do? Plus some. Have you put some agape love on this thing? Okay. This unmerited love, this, I'm going to stick to you with you to the end. This kind of love that says in sickness or in health, to death do us part. Is that in play here? Or is this something else? Now, I'm going to tell you, I had firsthand experience with it. That's why I say what I learned about, when a wife says something like that. I had some experience with this. I had a woman in my life that said things like this to me. They did. You need to understand, as a woman, as a wife, that when you say these type of things, there's going to be some fallout from it. There's going to be a fallout from it. The Bible says that a foolish woman would tear her own house down with her own hands. She'll tear it down with her own hands. Come on, man. You want to tear your house down? That's a good way to tear your house down. Because there's, like I said, there's going to be a lot of results that come out of that when you're talking to your man, to your husband in that manner. I mean, isn't there a better way that you could have said that? Couldn't you have said like, hey, I like it when you're slim. You know what I'm saying? That turns me on more. But to say I'm no longer attracted to you, first of all, that's a lie. That's a lie. Because something can get you going. That's something. Maybe it's my smile. Maybe it's my look. Maybe it's my mustache. Maybe it's my crispy white beard. Maybe it's I wink at you. Maybe it's talking a low voice. Something. But you just saying it like that, there's some resentment there. There's some bitterness there. And you got to deal with that, because if you don't, that will tear up your whole marriage. But anyway, bottom line, here's the deal. So I had that situation like that. And what ended up happening is a couple things. Some things happened with me. Number one, that guess what? I started to doubt myself. Out of the bedroom, in the bedroom, my looks, all of that. And if it wasn't for the grace of God, and I'm going to speak specifically on the outside of the bedroom, if it wasn't for the grace of God, man, it would have been hard for me to recover. But God reminded me, man, he just started helping me. Hey, man, look at this. Look at that. Look how good you look with this. Look at how good you look with that. Hey, yeah, your belly might not be where it needs to be. You might have a roll right here or a roll right there, but hey, look at this, look at that. That's enough, right? That's enough to make something happen. Now, of course, look here. Of course, you need to lose some weight, man. You need to lose some weight. 70 pounds? 1 year after you got married? Come on. You need to lose some weight. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to go over some things, some practical things with it. But you do need to understand you need to lose some weight. But you got to watch how you say it, because here's the thing. If the shoe was on the other foot, if a man said that to a woman, just ask yourself, if a man said that to his wife, man, come on. you would hear things like, that's abuse. That's mental abuse. Yo, he's a narcissist. They would be coming up with all kinds of crazy. Come on, man. Treat people the way that you want to be treated. The Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. And that ain't loving. But anyway, back to my story. So this person did that to me. And what ended up happening is it ended up affecting me in that outside the bedroom where I didn't, see myself as the best. I let myself be, dragged down. I wasn't dressing well. I wasn't cutting my hair the way I need to. I wasn't shaving the way I was just really just let myself go. Until one day, God woke me up on, hey, man, you're a good looking man. I don't care how many pounds you done gained. You're a good looking man. So I started, you know what I'm saying? I started getting myself back together. I said, oh, man, what the world's going on? Okay. And the second thing it did, okay, with the bedroom, I was like, ain't nothing missing, nothing broken. What we talking about? But actually, I did have something broken. As a result of how I processed the information. Now, listen, I'm not going to sit up there and blame that individual for how my body responded. I'm not going to do that. But what I will say is that you can definitely contribute to symptoms, to conditions that happen with your spouse. You got to be careful about how you say. You got to operate in love, man. You got to operate in love. You can't be just tearing somebody down because it's not going to benefit you. You tearing that person down in that manner, it's not going to benefit you. You're the one that got the problem. That person ain't even said they had the problem. They don't even necessarily have a problem with their weight. A lot of the reason why they've gained all that weight and have not taken it off. But you're the one with the problem. So do you really think by tearing the person down, just coming with a bam, is going to get you the results that you want? And in my case, guess what? I was having a hard time functioning after I got that news. Okay? After I got the news. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened. So that's on one part. I wasn't functioning, but on the outside of the bedroom, hey, guess what? I was starting to build some confidence, stuff like that. Now, I've told you all about some things that happened in my life where I got a wake-up call from God, and I really started putting some things together. But I still had this area where I wasn't functioning at full capacity, right? And so, anyway, there was something else that happened with the individual, with the woman that had started all of this, okay, had started this fight. They were getting more resentful. They were creating something in themselves. They were creating a facade. The Bible talks about having a strong delusion because they were surrounding themselves with this corrupt communication. That corrupt communication began to affect them and how they saw me and how they viewed me. Their perception of me was way over here, something totally different than from what other people knew me as well as what I was, period. Now, what I was not is I was not walking in the type of excellence that I should have been walking in. I was not walking totally with God 100% where, hey, guess what? I'm going to live or die by this word of God. I wasn't there. I was almost there, but I wasn't there 100%. Sometimes I would pick and choose, okay? But I was a Christian. I was a believer. I raised my family in a way that would be towards God, took them to church, all that stuff like that. And I was very present, but I wasn't managing in the manner that I needed to. But nevertheless, you still don't talk to a person in that manner because it's going to have an effect on you. And it did. It had an effect. It had an effect on this woman because what ended up doing, it built up resentment over time. It built up bitterness over that time to where I finally saw it myself and I confronted it. You're bitter. You just don't like it. Oh my goodness. But all that bitterness started because of her image of me. And then she said that thing with her mouth. She began to communicate that corrupt communication instead of building me up, instead of finding something to be thankful for about me. And I'm going to tell you a secret. There was plenty to be thankful for. There's plenty to be thankful for about your husband. There's plenty for you to find. Is he present? Is he there for you? Is he there for the kids? Is he providing? Is he going out there working? Is he working hard? Does he have a vision for the future? Come on, folks. Come on. I just did a show the other day, how to forgive your dad. You cannot just act like your dad or your mother or whoever ain't never done nothing right. It's not true. It's not true. You lying. They've done something. So find something to be thankful for and meditate on that. The Bible tells us to think on those things which are true, which are lovely, which are of a good report. If anything be praiseworthy, worthy of praise, think on those things. Because as a man thinketh, so is he in his heart. And so when you're saying all these words and everything, you are messing with your heart. You're writing it on the tablets of your heart. And you're corrupting your heart. And she ended up corrupting her heart. She walked away. She walked away because of her perception, but it was a delusion. It was not a truth. She wasn't seeing the whole picture. She wasn't looking at the picture right because of bitterness. She had built up bitterness and she wasn't applying the word of God. See, what I learned about when a wife says to her husband, I'm not attracted to you, no longer attracted to you, that's a word deficit. That's a God deficit. You're not getting in the presence of God. You're not praying like you should. You're not believing in his word and trusting in him. And it becomes a problem because what should happen is in that type of situation, a woman should say, okay, there's an area that I don't like that you're doing. It could be weight. It could be anything. The Bible said it is not good for a man to be alone, so I'll make you help. Your job as a wife is to help your man to achieve and accomplish the assignment that he was called to do. And it's hard to accomplish that assignment if you're 70 pounds overweight. So why not help the man? Now you might say, well, I'm helping him by nagging him. I'm helping them by telling them that you ain't no good. I'm helping them by saying, hey, this 70 pounds, I'm no longer attracted to you. No, you're not helping them, baby. You tearing them down. You tearing them down. And you ain't going to get what you're looking for. Listen, let me tell you something. That stuff that woman did in my life, that didn't help me out. It didn't build me up. Man, I didn't get no better. I might have a little spurt of something, a little spurt of progress. It wasn't nothing sustaining. It wasn't nothing sustaining. And it wasn't because I was trying to be mean or anything like that. I wanted to lose weight. But guess what? Tearing me down wasn't going to get it going. All that's going to do is create other problems, which I will get into a little bit later. But shouldn't you instead get in there, help your man? Help him? What do I mean by help? Why not get in there and, help him to go to the gym? And when I say help him to go to the gym, set him a schedule. Okay, at 6 o'clock, you got to go to the gym. Let's say, for instance, a couple times he didn't go to the gym. Why not go with him? And then how about spice it up a little bit? Because you already didn't hurt his feelings. Why not say, hey, I'll give you some brownie points. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you a little, intimacy. Some bedroom intimacy. You hit that gym hard. Give me 100 push-ups. Make it fun. Spend time together. See him working towards the thing that's actually going to benefit you. Because like I said, he ain't worried about it. He living his life, man. Shoot, it take enough for me just to work hard. Now, that ain't the right mindset, but I'm just saying, throw some benefits in there, throw some bonuses. You would be surprised what a man will do for a night with you. Come on, man. Y'all better, what? You'll be surprised. Okay? Because men like the bedroom. They like the bedroom. Y'all missing out on that, brother. Listen, that's a secret weapon. And it's not a weapon that you're supposed to withhold now. No. 1 Corinthians 7:5 says, do not deprive. So we ain't talking about using it as a weapon to deprive and to play games with. No, you need to use that as a weapon to help that person to achieve, to conquer, to win. That's what you're supposed to be helping your husband do, win. So you can use that. You'd be surprised. You say, well, hey, we just did something, earlier today. Hey, boy, you'd be surprised. You'll be surprised. You would be surprised at how motivating that could be. Y'all better go and read y'all's history books. So listen, man, tearing your husband down like that, saying those type of things, not building him up, not showing him, hey, let's go together. Even the eating schedule, because it's shown that, hey, what you eat is very important. Why not fix him some home-cooked meals, but put different ingredients in there to where he won't be able to tell it, but it's a healthier choice to help him to lose weight. Things that will bloat his stomach a little bit more so that he's not able to eat as much as he was before. Or after he's eaten a certain amount, or give him a certain amount on his plate, right? Fix his plate for him. And then once he's eaten that amount, hey, aren't you about full? And do it in a nice way. Kiss him. Do what you got to do. You're the one that want him to lose weight. I'm just saying. Look, you even learned in school, the teachers, if they want the child to do, and you say, well, he ain't no child, he's a grown man. Listen, treats is always a nice thing. Women love treats. Do y'all not? Y'all love treats. Men do too. Everybody like to be treated nicely and be flirted with and little things for doing the right thing. This ain't mutually exclusive to just women and children. Men like treats too. So give him a treat. Fix him a meal. Do some incentives with the type of meals that he eats. If he eats a certain type of meal, again, bedroom treats. Men will go for that. I promise you. But when you become resentful, when you become bitter, and you're no longer trusting in God, not only will you start to tear them down where you're saying, I'm no longer attracted to you, you will show them. You will illustrate that you're no longer attracted to them. And then that's when the real problems will come. And that's what happened with me. When they illustrate, oh, I'm no longer attracted to you, and you're bringing that into the bed, you got a problem now. Because God forbid that husband has some little, forbidden woman try to get his attention. And all of a sudden, just off of the attention, just off the little wink that she does, things start working. Things ain't work for you, ain't work for the wife that said all these nasty things in years or in months or whatever the case may be. But let little forbidden woman over here, or any woman, be a little bit nice, be sweet, have a nice perfume on. Hey, he's at attention. Things are working now. And so that's very dangerous, because then he could be like, hold on a minute. I thought that the man already on Viagra. And all of a sudden y'all, this was happening in marriages all over. This is what I've learned. And I had a personal situation with this. I I didn't go out on my wife now, thank God. But what I did do, after the bitterness drove that woman in my life away, after she drove herself away, I got remarried. And I was taking Viagra at the time. I'd been taking the Viagra for years. I had been taking Viagra for years, man. Yes, I was. I had to depend on some Viagras, what do you call sildenafil. And I had been dependent on that thing. Didn't feel confident without it. And then all of a sudden, I get remarried. And I did some good management, because I did some good vetting. I did some good vetting with my wife. I did some good vetting for my forever wife. I did some good vetting. And I want to make sure we got some things straight now. And some amazing things happened. I was no longer needing sildenafil and Viagra at all. I mean, like, I've not gotten that prescription filled in years. In years. What in the world's going on? Amazing. Ain't no need for it. And look here, the frequency of intimate occasions, the Tootsie Rolling and the boot, went up probably about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. What was before? But never, no need. Don't need it. Don't need it. Don't want it. I just got a question for you. Woman, is that what you want? Is that what you want? Do you want somebody else to be getting that good loving? Do you want somebody else to be getting that good loving because you decided to not be thankful? You decided to be resentful. You decided to be bitter. And instead of helping your husband, working with your husband, now you're crying because somebody else got your man and he's sharing with her the plan. I mean, is that what you want? I promise you that you don't want that. I promise you don't want that because that's what's happening. That's what's happening. Because it's not that you're giving up on him. You're giving up on him. Let me say that one more time. It's not that you're giving up on him. You're giving up on him. See, God has a way. God has a way for everything. And if we will just keep our eyes on God and do it God's way, we will find so much success. Our lives will be so blessed. But so many times we get all wrapped up in what this person over here is saying, or we get wrapped up in our feelings and our emotions, and we don't check them. We don't pray and say, God, did I handle this right? Before you go to that, man, are you saying, hey, God, how should I approach this with my husband? I'm feeling at times, not all the time, stop it. Feeling at times where I'm not as attracted to him like I was before because he gained 70 pounds. How about ask God, how can I be a help to that? And then you go and do it. And you don't quit until due season comes. Galatians 6:9 says, don't get weary in doing the right thing, because in due season, you will reap if you faint not, if you don't quit. But if you're quitting, ain't nothing going to have to happen. And then you sit up there and lose your husband to somebody else, either because you abandoned, or unfortunately, a lot of husbands may abandon in those situations. I've seen that happen before. I've seen it. I know of situations. There's all types of situations of that, where that wife did not value that husband and made him feel some kind of way in the bedroom, or was playing games and using, the bedroom as a weapon. He's like, no, I'm not going to do this. I got to go. And now they going about their business, living their life. Now, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I think that's just buffoonery, unless your wife cheated on you. But if she didn't cheat on you, no, that's not the best way to handle it. Best way to handle it is, you got to work on it until she decides, or unless she decides that she wants to abandon ship. Now, if she decides she wants to abandon ship, hey, if the unbeliever leave, let them leave. I'm so serious about that. But if that's not the case, man, things can be restored. And you got to believe that. The bottom line is we got to trust God. And let me say this. This just doesn't go for women. This is for men too. Men, husbands, and wives, we must be conscious of how we are talking to our spouses. I'm not saying don't tell your spouse the truth, but make sure that your motivation is love. The Bible says, speak the truth in love. That simply means make sure that your motivation is love when you're speaking to them. It says, let no corrupt communication proceed from out of your mouth. Y'all have to know that if you're telling your spouse, your husband, or your wife that I'm no longer attracted to you sexually, you got to know that that's going to be abusive. That's going to be a problem. You don't have to say that like that. And again, have you done everything that you could do to help them in the area that you want change? You want that changed. So what are you doing to help them? It's just like with a husband. There are many husbands out there. They want their wife to lose all these pounds. But the question is, what are you doing to help? What are you doing? Are you washing that wife with the washing of the word? Are you working out with her? And I forgot to say this about the women. Are you seeking solutions? All types of solutions to help your husband to overcome this obstacle. There are all types of solutions. And you're the one that's living with them. So you know how your husband or how your wife acts. And I specifically talk to the women on this. You know how your husband responds. You should be able to come up with something that is practical for your husband, because you know how he responds. You know how he acts. You know what he needs or what he wants. Why not come up with a plan that's going to be practical to what he is, that can still accomplish the goal that you're looking to accomplish? So if you know that he ain't giving up no meats, why not take out the starches and just have him on a meat diet? If he's not willing to give up the starches, why not, do a calorie count thing? And then, like I said, bring in the situation where you're giving treats, bedroom treats, for him accomplishing certain calorie counts or certain weigh-ins. But no, folks don't want to do that. Folks want to just act like their husband or their wife is on an island and they've got to do it for themselves because they're independent and they're their own person, even though God said, and the two became one flesh. You're one flesh. We need to act like it. Stop acting like people are out on an island here. You need to love your wife as yourself. Love your husband as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. And get in there and help them instead of abandoning them and becoming bitter and just casting them off like they're of no use. Because I'm telling you, you're going to end up casting away diamonds, very valuable stones, very valuable possessions that could have been yours. But somebody else was smart enough to say, wow, somebody else's trash is my treasure. Y'all, it's been good. It's been a blessing. Hey, just remember, I'm the marriage veteran. I'm here to help you. Hopefully this video has been a help and a blessing to you. Please share this video, like this video, subscribe, and please comment in the comment section on what you think about this video so that it can be a blessing to many others. Folks, I love you all, and until the next time, peace.